Hey everybody, so today I saw Captain Marvel, directed by Anna Boden and Ryan Fleck, starring Brie Larson, Samuel L. Jackson, Ben Mendelsohn, and Jude Law. I love a lot of things about this movie. I had an absolute blast with it. I think there are things that work in this movie very well and can be a hell of a lot of fun, but there are also a lot of things in this movie that feel awkward and clunky. For starters, I thought Samuel L. Jackson and Ben Mendelsohn were great in their respective roles. It was interesting to see a Nick Fury who was not as scornful or angry as he normally is in the previous Avengers movies, as we know him, because, this takes place in the 90s. And it was great to see Ben Mendelsohn working with an actual good script in a role that fit him surprisingly well. I didn't expect to like him in this movie as much as I was. I expected him to be just a straight-up villain that he's been in the last 8 movies he's been in. But he was new and exciting in this movie, and I hope they bring his character back. Jude Law, for the amount of screen time he gets, he's fine. I don't really understand what the whole point was. I also missed the first 10 minutes of the movie because, for whatever reason, Regal decided to say that the movie starts at 6 o'clock, promptly at 6 o'clock, when every other movie I've been to for the last 2 years has a 20-minute buffer in between it when the trailers are. So I missed the first 10 minutes of the movie, so I'm not quite sure how everything fits together, but I have a general conception of it. And Jude Law just felt a little weird in this movie to me. I think he was the overarching villain. Spoilers, but he was fine. He was okay. And the action scenes are great. They're a total blast. It's a ton of fun. And when they have jokes, when it is comedic, it hits very well. It doesn't feel forced. It doesn't feel stupid. There are a few laugh out loud moments. There are some great comedic timing and bits between the characters that I rather enjoyed. Getting into negative things, I think I loved Brie Larson as Captain Marvel. I think she fits the role very well. I liked her character in certain scenes. There are some aspects where she feels a little weird, a little clunky, and I think that's because it's the first movie. I think it's because it's the origin movie, and she just feels a little bogged down, a little dragged down. With a better director and maybe a better script/story, I think she can be a key piece in the MCU and do a very good job in the movie that she's in. And that's my main problem with the movie. It just feels a little forced at times. It's bogged down because it is an origin story. And the MCU hasn't had an origin story since 2016's Doctor Strange. It's been a while since we've had one. So to go from sequel to sequel to sequel and then to get a new origin story is a little jarring, and it's a little... I forgot what it was like to go into a superhero origin story for the MCU. So it was a little wonky at times, trying to force feed everything, telling you what's going on, who these characters are, and why they're here. At times the dialogue's a little clunky. There are a few lines, few deliveries, few scenes that feel a little weird, a little forced, and just really kind of rubbed me the wrong way in sometimes. But overall, I don't really have that many negative things to say about this movie. I think most of it works very well. I really enjoyed it. I loved it, and I think it's a great addition to the MCU. Like I said, there are a few things I would personally change about this movie that, in my opinion, would make it a little bit better for me. But this movie does leave things open for sequels and future Marvel movies. It answers a few questions that have been left over from previous Marvel movies. And I think that she's going to be a kick-ass character in sequel movies and Avengers movies, and especially in Endgame, and I can't wait to see what Brie Larson does as Captain Marvel in a Russo brothers directed movie. They're the best directors in the MCU. They're the best directors that's ever directed in the MCU, even better than Joss Whedon, and I'm insanely excited to see what she can do with this role when she has a good director, a good story, and a good script behind it. I'm going to give this movie an 8.7 out of 10. I really liked it and really enjoyed it.